All right, everyone. The other day, there was a little bit of a meltdown among left-wing voters, pretending that Donald Trump was saying something horribly insulting and disgusting with regards to the Paul Pelosi hammer incident. You'll remember that strange incident where a person managed to gain access to Paul Pelosi's home, where he lives with a standing member of Congress, so you'd think there'd be a security system. And a dude broke in and he had a hammer which appeared to be possibly sex toy related. And you have the most strange video clip ever of Paul Pelosi and this dude basically grabbing onto each other as the cops arrive at the door, and then the dude hammers Paul Pelosi in the head and caused injury. And of course, the dude's in his 80s, so and he has intoxication problems. You remember that time that he smashed his car on the road, and appears that that didn't get enough news coverage at the time because he was clearly hammered at the time, pun intended. Well, now Trump is hammering him too. Everyone's trying to hammer Paul Pelosi, including Paul Pelosi himself, coming out with a joke, link in the description with regards to building a wall. Well, yeah, they're trying to build a wall in their house. It didn't go over too well. The insinuation being they're clearing out the drywall with the hammer, and when an uninvited guest showed up. And MSNBC and Salon and Vox and all the other usual gang of idiots, they flip their shit about this. Well, this is highly disrespectful. He's making light of a violent attack upon a congressperson's husband. Here's Trump the insurrectionist again. It was very, very low of him. He should apologize. It's sort of like the time that Trump supposedly was mocking the disabled reporter, and that's actually a complete mythology, but they ran with it anyway. Or Pissgate, or any of a dozen other things. You see, there's a long litany of things that some people consider to be canonical and true about Donald Trump or people associated with him that clearly aren't. For instance, the Hunter Biden laptop was not the result of a Russian disinfo campaign. Donald Trump did not pay Russian prostitutes to pee on the Obama's bed. Or as 4chan fronted it, you remember the Gorilla Channel? The idea that Donald Trump insisted that there was a channel on TV called the Gorilla Channel, and nobody could figure out what he was talking about. So they just took clips of gorillas from like YouTube and they spliced it into a playlist, and then they would play it on TV. And then he complained because it was like wasn't enough violence. So they took only the clips of gorillas fighting, and he would sit there inches from the TV and mutter to himself about, that gorilla's pathetic and that gorilla really can throw a punch and stuff like that. And there were people that took it seriously at the time. Started as a troll. So too did elements of the Pissgate thing. There was one spiel, and it didn't make it into the legacy media. It didn't quite go that far, but there was some missing link coverage. I think they've scrubbed it by now, in which they said that Donald Trump had like 20 Russian hookers in his hotel room, and he would dress up in pajamas, and he would go and loudly go to the bathroom and humiliate people and, just do weird stuff. This happens all of the time. At least in this case, we can vouch for the fact that a joke was made. I don't see anything particularly disgusting about it, though. Effectively, it's a political juxtaposition. Donald Trump began building a better southern border barrier, a wall. Although we can get bogged down over whether it's a wall or a really, really tall bollard fence. I remember having a debate, I think it was with Richard Spencer on that topic. He went full Biden for some unknown reason. Well, because Dems are the real racists. Anyway, what's disgusting about this? He's talking about how he successfully built a wall, despite the fact that Congress wouldn't fund it for several years. He finally got that appropriated. And Paul Pelosi and his wife failed to build walls because they are busy doing other things with the construction equipment. That's basically the joke. Where's the disgust? Unless you're like some weird super fan of Biden and you think his shit don't stink, or you really like the Pelosi's, or you have TDS, in which case anything Trump says to you is going to rankle you anyway. It's just a joke. We see this in political humor all the time. I remember when it was considered earth-shattering when Obama called Kanye West a jackass. You remember that one? Most people don't. They don't like to talk about that one as much. Mean tweets before tweeting was a thing, I suppose. Anyway, I thought it was funny myself. Here you have a relatively vapid, corrupt couple that does insider trading and has enriched itself on the backs of globalism, basically throwing the nation under the bus. And the Pelosi's are notorious drunks. We've seen Nancy Pelosi intoxicated on more than one occasion on public speaking events. Paul Pelosi is a notorious alcoholic. and an unrepentant one, probably still downing a bottle a night. Surprised how the fuck do they live so long? You'd think they get liver cancer by now. Why is it that so many rich, vapid people load themselves up with drugs and alcohol on a constant basis and they don't die? Well, you hear the regular story. You hear someone, they're 45 years old, they got massive cirrhosis or lung tumors from all the Marlboros or something like that. And then you have Paul Pelosi's, what, 85 years old. He's drunk as a lord on a daily basis, it seems, crashing his car and doing weird shit. And he has his, alleged gay anarchist lover coming in to attack him as part of a weird sex role play or something like that. And Nancy's elderly and drunk and probably on other substances. Elizabeth Warren, another great example. That Rolling Rock helped to take the edge off of her Chardonnay hangover. That's the only reason she did that cringe moment on that one live stream with her husband. I think I want to have a beer. I'm sure that you drink Rolling Rock on a regular basis. That totally wasn't purchased that same day just for a photo op to be more likable, more relatable to people. Hey, you should have used Budweiser. That would get you more Dem votes at the moment. Anyway, there's nothing particularly pernicious, and if you expect Donald Trump not to make jokes like that, to get attention mainly, and also because he finds it personally amusing, I don't know, what planet are you living on? Did you not use Twitter for that decade-long period when Trump was dropping random jokes on there? Like the nipples protruding thing with what's his name there, the kind of fat dude that shit his pants more recently. I can't remember his name. Nadler, I think it was, and stuff like that. That led to a million derivatives. John McCain's tumor, Meghan McCain's neck rolls, and stuff like that. This is pure Trump. It's also one of his powers. He can drain the oxygen out of the room by saying something that would be considered off the wall or even vaguely insulting, knowing that people are going to run with it and that there will be TDS involved. Oh yeah, now Paul Pelosi got hammered in more ways than one that night. Let's take the joke actually a little bit further. That's about all. Peace out.